Hey guys, welcome back to yet another episode of Top Billers Toolkit, where me and my twin brother interview top billers from all around the globe to unlock the secrets to their success. Today's guest is Oliver Reeves. Oliver is a solo biller who's on track to do 1 million this year on his own with no support. But it wasn't always this way. Oliver was actually losing 20k per month at one point. He had team members that were underperforming. They ended up leaving him. He hit rock bottom and he had a child on the way. In this episode, we go through Oliver's emotional and incredible comeback story of how he hit rock bottom and completely turned it around to bill 633,000 already for this year and on track to do well over 1 million. We go through exactly how he pivoted markets from the Singapore to the US, his exact BD strategies that are winning him clients every single week, and his mindset that transformed his life from rock bottom to top biller. Honestly, guys, this is one of my favorite episodes that we've recorded in a very long time. Listen to it, consume it, because it's brilliant and you can learn a lot from Oliver's experience. As usual, grab a cuppa or a glass of wine, depending on when you're listening to this, and let's get into it, shall we? Wait a second, guys. Quick question for you. If you could land a new client on LinkedIn in the next couple of weeks, how much would that be worth to you? 20, 30? Maybe 40k? Well, we have a pretty crazy offer on right now. If you are a recruitment business owner, then we will work with you for free and write you 2 posts at absolutely no cost. And here's the cool part. Other recruiters that have come through this free trial have managed to win new clients. They've racked up hundreds of thousands of impressions and started conversations with top tier candidates. It's completely risk-free, so you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. If you're interested, the link's in the description below. If not, no worries. We hope you enjoy the podcast. See you later. Oliver, thank you so much for joining us on Top Billers Toolkit. I am so damn excited about this particular episode, man. Thank you. How you doing?
Yeah, all good, my friend. Pleasure to be on.
Awesome. Let's just jump straight into the first question, because I know we've got a lot to cover today, Oliver. What's the number one tool in your toolkit, whether it be a mindset, strategy, or software?
God, I do love this question. I'm a big fan of this podcast, so I've seen this question come up quite a lot, and I'm going to have to say it's mindset basically, because like there's no tool. Like I've used tools in the past that have given me loads back. These tools change, they go away, but the mindset stays with you forever. Like throughout all the tough times you've had or good times, it's the mindset that gets you through.
I love that. I was going to ask more questions around that, but I think question number 2 highlights mindset, in such a powerful way, because you spent a long time grinding in a market that wasn't really serving you, Oliver, by the sounds of it. And you were losing money, and you can go into more detail for the audience if that's okay, but you were losing quite a lot of money, and then you completely turned it around, and now you are absolutely smashing it. And I think that your story is the perfect example of how mindset can completely transform your life, really.
Yeah.
So do you mind just telling the audience like what happened and like how did you get out of it? It's just so, an outsider looking in knows what you've been through.
100%, 100%. So at the time, I was purely doing Singapore. So in the 2022 boom, I think when all tech recruiters started caning it, we were absolutely flying. I had a team of 3, me included in that, and we did 1 million. Basically, we did 1 million between 3 of us. I was doing all the business development. I had 2 resources. I still, had them on 360, giving them that 360 commission. And so they were like glorified resources, good guys. And at the time, we were doing 2 markets. We were doing America, okay, and we just started to get into Singapore. And when I got into Singapore, first thing that became apparent to me was like these people actually quite like recruiters. Like in the UK, they just treat you like dirt. Like they just hate us. So when I started, these people were so nice to me, and I got this requirement with a company called Split. And I just found it so easy to fill these roles. I was like, wow. And I just found it so much easier. I was like, wow, this market's really good. It's so easy to get the developers. People are super nice. It was like a mecca to me. And previously, I worked at a company called Argyle Scott. And at the time, our team was really struggling in the UK, but they had this Singapore part of their business that was just like thriving. So the owner of my company, two owners, used to always say to me, like, the reason the Singapore market's booming, there's no PSLs. They built this mecca in my mind of, built this market up to be this mecca. So I've always had it in my mind. And then I got this client on there and I was like, this is easy. This is the promised land, like this is where it's at. London's really hard. And also I wasn't a massive biller when I started at Argyle Scott. I was the top biller in perm. I was doing like 150 my first year. So I had a really strong start. I had no one to teach me, no one to look up to on the perm side to teach me take me away from my bad habits. So I peaked to 150. I then took those, and then I had 3 years bidding about 150. My first year was 157, and I just peaked. So around 150, and then I was like, I'm going to start my own business here to level up, because I wasn't really doing BD. I was getting fed jobs, and so I took those bad habits with me. So I was a low biller in the UK, and then I took those low billing mindset to Singapore, and then the market boomed. Yeah, everyone was caning it. Singapore exploded. I expanded. Obviously, I hired a Singaporean. Started up my office there, focused on Singapore and America. Then I stopped getting as many responses in America, and I just went, you know what? It's so much easier in Singapore. It's a nice experience. It's fluffy. You get lots of responses. You get loads of candidates. Like, this is the place to be. So I went all in on Singapore. And after that year, every year after that, it just slowly got worse and worse. And we were like, there was just less funding coming through. There was less companies hiring. It was just becoming awful, and I was traveling up to Singapore once every quarter. I was traveling out there once every quarter, going out there for 2 weeks and just doing like 8, 9 meetings a day, just rinsing these out. And I wasn't really getting much back, but I was just like, this is the only way. I didn't really have a strong BD strategy. I was like, I'll get in front of these people, meet them, that'll get me business. Naturally, if you just message people, do you want to meet? The ones that come back are the ones looking for jobs. They're not the high value clients. They're the ones who are going to meet you because they think you can help them. Like, if you just message 100 people on LinkedIn who are CTOs, you're going to get probably, I don't know, you're going to get 30 responses. 27 are going to be people who want jobs, which I didn't realize. So I was just going out there and just hammering it. Beautiful country, by the way, lovely place, but I was getting nothing back. And every year it was just getting harder and harder, and it was getting worse and worse. And I just didn't know what to do. I was just trying everything. And it just got to the point where I had a team of 4 at the time. I had one guy in Singapore, and the rest of my team. And we were coming in and doing like 300 cold calls a day each. Yeah. And we were just getting nothing. And I was just pushing the team and everyone harder and harder. And it was getting worse and worse. And it got to the stage where um, I had my daughter at the time as well. And the money was going down. I was losing loads of money. And I was losing like 20 grand a month. And which might sound nothing to some of these big recruiters, but for me, it was really stressful and I was really in a horrible place. And I think it was about the time I met you guys, really. But I was just on my backside, really suffering. I remember when my daughter was born, I was like, it was a 3 day, 3 days for my daughter to be born. It was really tough on my partner. And in between that, I was like taking calls from active processors and stuff like that because I was just so desperate. I needed money. My daughter was coming. The money wasn't coming in. I thought I wasn't going to support my family. So I was just in a terrible rut. And then one by one, my team started leaving. Like, I've never had anyone leave in my whole career. No one's ever left my team ever.
Mm,
I know 2 people we've let go. And to be fair, the people even I've let go, it was my fault because I didn't teach them to be top billers. Like, it
mm,
was on me. And I had one guy left, and I was like, "Whoa, God, this is meant." Don't blame him. The 300 cold calls with no commission was probably the start of it. And then I had another guy leave, and I was like, well, "Fair enough." He's a guy I've worked with for 6 or 7 years, and I was like, "Wow, this is really rock bottom for me. I'm really on my ass here. This is terrible." And and then obviously I just had to keep driving. And if you listen to lots of self help people, the hardest thing to do is to keep coming back when nothing is working. Yeah. When you try your best and you fail, nothing hurts more than that. Because
mhm,
like you're giving it everything. I was giving it everything. I was unloading every day, all day, just tearing it. And there was no one to buy. So I thought it was me. And then when I went to Singapore again, my clients started saying, "You're the only person I know who still does tech recruitment. Everyone else is gone." And I
Wow.
was like, "Yeah, yeah." I was like, "This is a big problem now." I was like, "This is a big problem." I was like, "That's scary. Where have the others gone? Like, what have they gone? This is not booming." And and then I went down to just me. And before I decided to pivot, so obviously that's the thing about when you obviously the question was about mindset. Like, some people are going to throw the towel in. For me personally, I just gave a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more until eventually we decided to pivot. But that's it. You just it's mindset over anything. You're never gonna People just throw in the towel before they get to the riches because it's just not a very nice thing to do. Doing 300 cold calls a day or whatever that may be, getting nothing back, like you're just gonna throw in the towel. But anyway,
Mm. Thank you for sharing, dude. It's a mad journey, and we're going to speak about the success in a second, which is the cool part. Well, it's all cool, the story, but you know,
yeah,
I love when people go through that and then come out the other end and have an amazing result, which we're going to go into in a second. But I just want to go back to that moment because I've got a daughter and she's
yeah,
not that much older than yours, so I understand
yeah.
the stress of being a parent, providing. I can't imagine being in that situation where your daughter's on the way, you're basically all the people have just left, you're losing money. Like, what was going through your brain at that point not to throw in the towel? Were you just like, I've got a daughter, this is impossible, I have to continue? And then what little green shoots did you start to see to like keep you going? Would love to understand that part.
Oh God, there was no shoots. There was no shoots. The thing is, I just haven't got quit in me. Like
Mm,
I've never my mindset is you can't fail if you never quit.
mm,
So like I'm just gonna keep coming back. However much you come, I'll give more. Like I've had it, when I first started my business, I've run out of money, moved back in with my mum and had no cash. And I've been through it all. My girlfriend at the time left me. I was in London. I just started my business. I had 7 grand to my name, and my partner at the time decided she wanted to go travel the world, and decided to leave. So I was suddenly left with nothing. And my mother come and picked me up, took me to her house. I was living in this single bed, legs hanging over the end of it. I was just thinking, what's happened? My whole life has been thrown on its head. I've got, I haven't got much money. My girlfriend's gone. I've lost my flat, and I'm living back in my mum's at 27. I was like, this
mm,
is just a joke. And I would just dog it out. I would just dog it out. Whatever happens, I won't stop.
mm,
And with obviously back, kind of bringing it back to where I am now, I just felt like a massive failure. I'll be honest with you guys. I just felt really insecure. And obviously I'm 36 now. You think you're going to be a completely secure person. I feel much better in myself. But at the time, I just felt like my whole identity had been crushed because I
mm,
was a provider. I had always taken care of my partner. I thought I was going to be someone who could take care of my child. And I was watching the money go down. I was thinking, what's going to happen here? Am I going to have to go and start from the bottom, start a new job, maybe? All this kind of stuff. And you just feel awful. I used to feel every Thursday, I used to feel like I was having a stroke by Thursday, Friday because I was just so stressed. And
mm,
when the daughter comes, you just become so real. You're suddenly responsible for this child, and it was a really bad run. It was a terrible run. I was just felt for 3 years. I've gone from being someone I was very proud of to suddenly being someone who was quite embarrassed to
mm,
be myself. Seeing all these people do well, and me just I thought I was just a bit inadequate, to be honest with you. So it was there was no green shoots. There was no green shoots. But I would say this, your podcast did definitely help me. Like that was the start of the turn for me was working with other people. Yeah. And
mm,
firstly it started with your podcast because I used to
mm,
watch your podcast and I used to just get inspiration, you know.
mm,
And the thing for me, I never had anyone to learn from. Okay. And I remember this very clearly because you guys came up on my radar and I thought it was really cool that, you got twin brothers. I used to get confused between you both quite a bit. But you used to have twin brothers and they were just doing this podcast and they're interviewing top billers. So every time you did a thing, I listened very, very carefully to what the top billers were saying. I listened, and I was actioning everything they said. I listened very, very clearly. And that was definitely the start of the change for me, because I remember there's a 2 million bidder you had on there, and everything he said, I just completely just locked him with it. And there was
Mm.
another guy, a guy who messaged you about me doing well before this podcast, a guy called Kevin Hall, and he was a 2 million biller, and I just remember just thinking, I'm struggling here. My team is struggling here, but there's someone doing 2 million. Yeah, so there's something he knows I don't. So the green shoots for your podcast, I tell you, that was the first green shoots I had, was just watching that, listening to people doing well. And that was the start, because once I saw it, I started to get green shoots, which was like belief something else was happening outside of
Mm.
Singapore. But I don't even know if that answers your question, to be honest, Sam.
No, it does, mate. It does. And when Ben told me that, I was like, oh, that is so epic that our podcast had, even if it was 20% or 10%.
Man, it was so much. Your podcast was so epic.
Yeah, I'm sure most of it was you just not giving up, Oliver. But I'm just so honoured that our podcast managed to pay even a small part in that. So thank you for sharing that, man. And honestly, that has absolutely made my day. That, and I only discovered that like 20 minutes before coming on the pod. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Oh, mate, it was. And you know what? But the thing is, I kept watching your videos. They all kept saying the same thing. So I was
Funny,
I
isn't
was
it?
like,
Yeah.
I was like, they're all saying the same thing. Like, how can I not copy these people? I have to copy these people. They're all saying the same thing. They're all
Yeah.
saying candidate driven, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And once I just see these people saying the same thing, I was like, I'm just doing exactly what they say they're doing. And as
Yeah.
soon as I implemented that, obviously I did switch markets. We'll get into it whenever he goes already. But
Yeah.
that definitely was the start of the change, was that.
Awesome, mate.
Such a great.
I've just got one more question on mindset. Then were you going to go into
I
the,
was,
the next
yeah.
stage?
So go
Just
ahead.
one
Yeah.
more, because do you think, Oliver? And I'm kind of it's a leading question here, but like,
Go
if
on.
I would love your opinion. Like the story about you moving back in with your mum, that was quite a
Yeah.
hard period, and I haven't met many people that have gone through something really hard and then had to do it
Yeah.
again, like shortly after. Do you think that first hard period kind of toughened you up a bit to the point where you were like, hey, I've already done something like that, I can get through
Yeah.
this now? Did that ever come into your mind, or was that not really part of it at all?
Oh, mate, 100%. The thing is, I've been taking L's my whole life, if I'm honest with you. Like, even when I was younger, I was probably like mid-tier when I was younger, and like mid-sets and stuff like that. And I then got ill. I moved to a new school called Felsted, place in down the road from where I'm in Essex. And I really struggled to fit in, because I came in 2 years before the last year of their school before the senior one. And I just couldn't fit in, and I was like, I wouldn't say I was bullied, but I just really struggled there. And then I started getting really ill. So I got pneumonia, I got these illnesses, and I ended up in hospital. And I missed a whole year of school.
Wow.
And then when I came back, I ended up leaving that school, going back to my old school, and I was suddenly in the bottom sets for everything. Yeah, and my mindset is, when I say my mindset, I know you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Yeah, you guys will know this as well. Every successful person says the same thing. I was suddenly surrounded by these people who would just like didn't care, and I was like, wow, I'm going to become the king of the idiots. Like, I suddenly felt like I had to be the class clown. I just become like massive failure, really. And then went to Southampton Solent, one of the worst universities in the country. Dropped out of there, and then I obviously got into being a waiter. I was a waiter first, and I got sacked from my first waiter job. Then I took on a business worked at a company called Arlington's in Ipswich, Arlington's Brasserie. And I was a waiter there, worked my way up to being a restaurant manager very quickly. And this business was just struggling so badly. And I loved the owners there. We got on really well, but I was giving everything I had to make this business a success. And I just could not make it a success. Anyway, I decided to get my first recruitment job. There was a company called Euro-Based People. Managed to blag my way into that somehow. No sales experience, and really struggled straight away. And then eventually, I got sacked from that job. So I was just used to just taking massive L's, and then reinventing myself and coming back and going again. And then, so I've got sacked from my first job, got back in, worked at Argos Scott, left there, started my business, and then lost everything and started again. So my life has just been one failure, build myself and come back after another. That's all it's ever been. is just L, and then break myself down, look myself in the mirror. What have I done? And that's part of the reason I think I really struggled in recruitment to start with, because I just thought I was a failure. And I used to look at recruitment people I used to work with, and I used to be like, these guys are so much better than me. Like, I'm worse than these people. I'm terrible on the phone. I'm so much worse than these people. And the mindset of going back and living with my mum and driving through, it was a great thing, because you learn, like, you don't need much. Like, I put my expenses down to like 400 quid a month. Yeah.
Wow.
Even I still run out of money with that, because obviously I had to pay all my bills and stuff. But I remember being in my mum's house, no money. Back in with a lovely lady, cooking me meals every night. That was a good part. Tiny single bed. And all I did every day, I think it must be 7 days a week. I woke up 6 a.m. I started work, 7 or 8 p.m. I finished work. I'll go to the gym at lunch. That was it. And that was just all, my whole life became that. And I was just running out of money. And then eventually I said to my mom, I said, Mom, listen, I've got no money left. And mums, they'll always tell you to go back and get a job. Like, they don't mean it. They don't mean it, but they'll be like, can you ask for your old job back? And I was like, no, no, I can't. And she was like, look, I'm going to lend you the money, but I want you to promise me that if you run out, you're going to go back to the other job. And I was like, all right. But in reality, I didn't care what I took. I wasn't going back. I was going to make this work, whatever. And then, like, about 2 weeks after she gave me that money, I suddenly closed my first deal. I was like, guess it, that's one in the bank. And then I closed like three more. I ended up doing 20 grand that month. And I just, every time I was going out, I think I did 3 deals. I was going, Mum, I've done another one. And she
That's
was like,
wicked.
Buzzy. I know. And I'd gone from I had nothing. I had a £500 smart car. That was my car. And I was nothing. And then I just drove it into being a big success. Well, it depends what you measure success on, but it's a success for me. And then, so yeah, you learn that, like, it's going to get rough. When things get bad, they get rough. Yeah. But if you just stay in there, it's going to feel like a pressure cooker. When it gets really bad, it'll pressure, and then you'll just pop through the top. If you just stay in there, but it's just hard to stay in because it's just so painful.
That's
Yeah.
such a good
Thank you for sharing, mate.
example. Yeah. The pressure cooker, such a good example.
That gave me goosebumps when you said I got my first deal, Oliver. I just, I
Me
felt
too.
like I was
I'm
sitting
buzzing
right next to
again.
you, and you're like, "Yeah, fucking let's go."
I was buzzing. I was buzzing. It was the best thing, because I was just like,
Mm,
I kind of didn't. I think you think you can't do it. Like, that's the thing. I think that's why most recruiters really struggle, is because they don't believe in themselves. That's what it is. People don't think
mm,
they can, so they just really question themselves. Am I doing it right? Switch strategies. Keep trying different things, and you just end up going all over the place, working all these different roles. We'll come into it down the line, but I think that's why your podcast changed it for me, because once I knew how to do it, I was like, that is it. That is what I'm doing. I'm sticking with that, because I was ended up working roles all over here, all over there. Um, so yeah, I'd say, but yeah, it was a beautiful time. It's really hard to explain those highs. It's
yeah.
all those grinding lows. It is
Mm,
worth it. And
We have to jump into where you are now, Oliver, because
yeah,
it's the transformation is quite incredible.
yeah,
You messaged me recently. You're now on
yeah.
£633,000
British
um,
pounds. Yeah,
for the year so far,
yeah,
and haven't finished the year. We're at June 2nd. So
yeah, yeah,
you've done, and you're on your own. So the profit margins are
yeah,
probably insane.
yeah, yeah,
Um, how the hell? Maybe you can tell us. You did such a good job at like telling us the incremental losses. Can you go to the
yeah.
incremental wins now? Like, how did you turn it around
Oh,
now to
I'd
like
like to know.
from then to 633K? You're probably going to do a million, if not more, by the end of the
Oh,
year.
mate, I
How
didn't
the
know that.
hell? What happened?
Yeah. What happened? What happened? It was. Do you know what it was? I think so. I did my first million, I suppose, from April to April, from last year, and I started doing a different market midway through the year, and when I pivoted, it was really hard for me, mate, because I was doing this new market. I had no idea. You don't know what's coming. That's the biggest fear when you first start. You don't. Yeah, there's nothing to bank on. You don't know what's coming, and that's what really hurts you, because you don't know what's going to happen. And that's scary. Like, you just don't know what's coming. When I eventually hit rock bottom, and I had nothing left, and I was obviously, all my team had gone, who were my family. I really did love them. So it was really heartbreaking for me. I was suddenly in my own in this office. And this is a really sad story. I was working my last teammate to go was a guy called Mason. He was a really good friend of mine. We've been really good friends forever. We started the business together. When he first came to to work with me, we used to work in, my dad had this spare office, but we weren't allowed in the office. We had to go in the bit where he kept all the computers to start with, while that we were sorting our own thing out. And there's all these computers in there, and it was like, imagine you in a big office, not massive, but like, then there's the computer room, all that noise, and it was just so hot in there and so painful. So we both started together, like in the gutter, and it was kind of funny. We all kind of worked our way up, and it got to the time I paid him, like, I think his best year he earned. I paid him multiple 20 grand months, you know. So it was an amazing story for me. I loved him, and we did really well together. By the end, he hated me because I'm just driving him. He's not getting paid. He just thinking this is just torture. But I remember very clearly when it was time, because you're scared. You don't know what's coming. What's it going to be like working in my office all day on my own? I don't know what that's like. And I remember my last day with Mason, and it got to the time where I had to go and say goodbye to him, and I had to go and just walk him to his car. And he's the most nicest boy you've ever, like, nicest man. He's a man. He's a dad with 2 kids. He's the most nicest man you've ever met. And I've gone to say goodbye to him. I was like trying to keep it straight, you know, try and hold it together. Like, he was fine. And as I've said goodbye to him, he's gone, you know, goodbye, mate. And he's gone to give me a hug. Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, all right, cool. Give me this hug." And he just held me for a little bit too long. And then I just burst into tears. And I was just,
Oh,
because I was
mate.
so like upset that my mate was gone. And I was also like really scared. This guy had been my best man. I've been working with him all this time. And I remember having to just walk out. I just walked into my car and then was just like crying for like, I don't know, like 10 minutes, which
Wow,
is
mate.
like embarrassing, but it's the truth.
Wow.
And so I've hit rock bottom. I wasn't going to be in my office on my own, doing all this on my own. I've done this in so long. I'll start again. And I obviously did this course with Maguire for Justin, which is started the incremental change. And one thing, important thing, we go to success is like, you really need to start listening to what everyone's telling you. You know, like, you guys are going on about content. It's true. Like, the content is very important because people need to know who you are to be able to respond. So content, massively important. Specking, massively important. Having a strategy, massively important. But going into billing these big numbers, the first start of it was just getting a few wins. You know, getting my first few wins in there, started billing. You don't know what you're capable of. I think people don't realize what they are capable of. And when you're on your own, you can then set the pace. Yeah. And you can decide what's possible. If you're working with 3 other people and they're only capable of billing 300, yeah, that's the pace. And you're now part of that pace. Like, that's what is, but you can create whatever you want with your mind. You can set whatever standard you want. And I suppose I was just driving in America, not getting anything back, really. Was not getting anything back. Then I just started to get a few really good candidates. And once I started to get a few good candidates, then I started to getting responses from clients and stuff like that.
Mm.
And it's the same in every country. Recruitment's the same everywhere. So as soon as I got my foot in the door, I was like, this market is so much better than the one I've come from. Okay. So, and then I just started getting a few wins, few placements. And I was like, wow, these fees are big fees, you know? And it's similar. It's similar. I was doing these fees in Singapore. They're probably about 10, 12, 13, 15, up to 20 grand. And then I just started to get these deals in, and I was like, okay, what am I capable of doing? That was my mindset. I was thinking, what can I actually achieve here? What is possible? So my first target, I was thinking, all right, well, how much can I bill? Maybe 400 grand. 400 grand is a nice lifestyle for me and my family. You know, that's quite a lot of money. Anyway, you suddenly sit 400 grand, well, you're on target 400 grand. I'm like, wow, there's more in the tank here. Okay. If you set a limit of 400 grand, once you get to that, you won't be driving it anymore. You will just start slowing down. You won't have that same drive. So I started hitting those targets. I was like, oh, okay, maybe I can do more. Maybe I'm capable of doing much more. And then I just kept increasing the targets. So the targets, I just kept on increasing them because I was like, what can I do here? And I started this year off on 1 million. That was my target for this year. I was like, 1 million. And then again, I was like, I'm caning this target. I'm absolutely smashing this target to bits. Like, I need to up this target. Yeah. So I was like, I wonder if I can do 1.5 million USD this, by the way, $1.5 million USD. And I started caning it again. I was like, bloody hell, I'm caning this one as well. Like, what's going on here? And then I had a performance coach at the time, a guy called Jack Salmon, real top guy. And he was just like, why don't you up your target again? I was like, yeah, it's a good point. I don't up my target again. And I was like, all right, 2 million it is. We're doing 2. And obviously now was it June the 2nd? I'm on 8252, a few other things going on. And it's just a beautiful feeling, you know. I've been eating just eating shit basically. I've been eating shit for a long time. I don't know if I can swear on this podcast, but I've been
Yeah,
eating
you
a
can.
lot of shit. And then suddenly I'm eating caviar. I'm like, this is just like how can I explain this feeling? I've been doing the same thing every day. I've been driving so hard and I've just been eating shit. I keep coming back and I'm complaining to my partner and she probably thinks I'm this massive win. But now I'm just like flying. It's just such a beautiful thing. But the thing is, guys, you're never going to hit that next step. The universe will test you.
Mm.
You're going to be tested before you get to that next level. They're going to shake you up. It's not going to just be straight up every time you're just caning it. It's not like that. You know, you're going to be tested. And luckily, I've just kept pushing through, and it's just been really good.
Absolutely love that, mate.
So many questions from that. I'd like to go back to, because it sounds like there was quite a few pivotal moments, but the one thing that stood out on me is that you found some good candidates and that got
Yeah,
your foot through the door. And I just wanted to
yeah,
pinpoint that because, like, new market, well, you worked in the US before, but, you know, new territory essentially. And it sounds like getting some good candidates like in your pool allowed you to open doors. Am I right in saying, like, that was the first moment that you were able to
100%,
start
mate.
conversations?
100%. The Americans, they don't mess around. Like, they don't want to fluffy talk bollocks. Like, oh, they want that candidate. That's what the thing about recruitment. People really forget that, like, they just want you to find a candidate. That's it, mate. You can brown nose them X, Y, Z. Like, it don't matter. I was recently using a recruiter to help me fill some roles. Ended up not hiring, but when someone books in an interview and they are completely crap, you just think, why have you done this to me? I'm a busy man right now. Yeah. My whole day is blocked out. When someone does that to you, you just think you are just a twat. Like, why have you done it? You know that person was useless and you've put them in my calendar. So I think the main thing one of the main things recruiters struggle with, they get a candidate and they think, wow, maybe this candidate is good. They know he's not good. They know that he's not good. No offense to any of these candidates out there. But obviously, if companies paid you to find someone and you get someone, they think, oh, maybe this, they ignore all the red flags that are there and they just send it. And that's your reputation on the line. Like, you better off just not sending. I could fill my pipeline to the brim. Okay. It's just like, right now, I've probably got 40 interviews going on. Yeah. That's no exaggeration. And, there's a lot of, I could trim that down to probably even less. But you know, the thing is, people you just dig. You want to dig. They're paying you to find someone. So the key for recruiters is you need to find someone who's very, very good. Otherwise, they're not going to get the job. You know, they're not going to get the job. Especially in the tech scene and these startups, like the bar is very high. So once you've got someone good and you're working with someone good and you can put them in front of a hiring manager, they're going to bite. Okay, you're going to start getting bites. You're going to start getting interviews, and it's just about finding the right product. Like, let's break it down to something else. You know, if you want to buy something, let's say we'll buy cars. Yeah, if someone keeps putting cars in front of you that are good value, okay, they're quality, and you trust them, and they keep doing that, you're never going to go anywhere else. Okay, if they start putting terrible cars in front of you that you're overpriced, you're not going to use them, are you? You're probably going to use them once or twice, and then you're just going to be like, this guy is just taking me for a ride. So everything really started changing for me when I just started to just get some absolute 10 out of 10 profiles. Once you got 10 out of 10, like the clients are going to start buying, and you're going to start getting some meetings off the back of that.
Love that, man. And I just want to compare it to your other strategy, Oliver, because
Yeah.
and again, it seems to be that you found really good candidates. And am I right in saying that you were specking them out, Oliver, via
What
email or
before?
LinkedIn? No, sorry, the new strategy, the
The new
one that
strategy.
started working. You found really good candidates, which I want to go into how you found them in a second. But you found really good candidates, and then
Yeah.
am I right in saying you spec them out like via email or
100%,
LinkedIn?
mate.
Yeah, cool.
100%, 100%, 100%. First thing I'm going to tell you about my failed strategy first, and then I'm going to walk you to my successful strategy. So I've always been a high volume kind of person. Like that's just what I've always been like. Like I will, if you like, I remember when I first started, they didn't have any of the tools we had now. Like we had the job boards, and these developers, they just wouldn't answer the phone. So I'd sit there with my phone and I would write down like I'd have like 70 numbers, and I'd just go like just drill that phone to bits. And I was just literally just hammer it. And then I would go from that to hammering LinkedIn, whatever, whatever. That's always been my strategy. It's worked very well for me. I've always been fantastic at filling jobs. I was a resourcing specialist. Worst thing you can be, really. You want to be both, but like if you could be one or the other, you want to be a BD guy. So yeah, I was a resourcing strategist. So I was thinking, all right, I need to start getting jobs in here. Okay. What have I always done? High volume, start getting in front of people, the more candidates you're going to speak with, you're going to end up with a better candidate in the end. I was like, okay, I need to take this to clients. All right. What can I do? So I just started calling all these clients. Okay. No research into IC, like if they're going to hire or whatever. I was just like, okay, 200 CCOs or whatever, call them all, blah, 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 blah. No strategy. Meetings, going to Singapore, meeting. 10 meetings a day. Yeah. And when I tell you, I was completely drilled by that last meeting. Like who can, who can do 10 meetings a day face to face? I was doing that for 2 weeks. I felt like I was going to die. I was getting nothing back from it. It's just a ridiculous strategy. There's no strategy. It's just get in front of as many people as possible. The people who are going to meet you are the ones who aren't the ones that you want to meet. The ones you want are the ones you can't get a hold of. So that was a failed strategy. And when I first started dealing with Justin, and I said, yeah, email used to work for me in 2022. It doesn't work anymore. And he went, no, it works. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, that works. LinkedIn works. That's our two biggest winners. I was like, that was 3 years of wasted time. I could have been sending emails. I abandoned emailing. So I thought it was stopped. I was just like, abandon shit. I was just doing the wrong thing, mate. I wasn't specking. I used to, in 2022, I got loads of wins from just emailing loads of people just with a certain pitch with no candidate. And I got loads of wins off that. We did 1 million that year. But then I thought after a while that generic pitch stopped working. So I was like, these guys, it's not working. Email doesn't work anymore. I convinced myself. So just lead the blind leading the blind, that being me, leading myself to failure. Anyway, so once he said that, I was like, bloody hell, it's working. I didn't realize that. Okay, let's get a strategy here. Yeah. You know what they're saying on Top Billers Toolkit? They're specking in candidates. Okay. So what do I need to do? I need to focus on one market and spec in. So all I'm doing is the same thing. I'm doing the same thing. I'm getting this. So just to break it down so everyone understands this, I get a candidate. Okay. I take off their personal details. Yeah. And then I will put in my branding. I'll leave the current company. If you're going to get done, you're going to get done. Yeah, you can't try and protect like if they're going to go to the candidate directly, they're going to go to the candidate directly. In America, they're probably not going to respond anyway. So like it doesn't, they're getting all messages a day. Once you've got them, they're working with you, they're yours, they trust you, whatever. So get the profile, put your branding on it. You don't need to take the company where they're working. If you're going to get done, you're going to get done. It's very rarely going to happen. You can't be like that. Oh yeah, what if I get someone, takes my candidate and what? Like, who cares? So you can't have that mindset. You've got to think, you know what? They're going to see my candidate, my developer. They're going to see where he's working. They're going to see what he's done. They're going to know I've started on the right foot here. Honesty. Yeah. These clients just want you to be normal. They don't want you to be weird. They want you to be normal. So you're stepping off. You're showing them that you can be trusted. Okay. You're saying, look, I trust you. There you go. You're not going to leave his number on there, this email, but you're going to say, look, that's where he's working. If you want to find him on LinkedIn, whatever. So get a strong candidate that fits within your ICP. You need to be doing the same thing. So every time you've got a campaign going on, it's doing the same things going on. Yeah. So you can't be going here, there. Oh, just keep it simple, mate. Keep it simple. Same thing. Get your specs out. Start specking. You're calling them. you're emailing them, you're calling them, you're emailing them, you're SMSing them, you're WhatsApping them. Who cares? Yeah, it's a system. So you need to have your system going. You don't want to be sending them 7, 8 follow-ups or anything like that. Like we all get it. Just get in front of them. 1, 2, 3 follow-ups, whatever it is on the emails. You get your email in there. You've got your iMessage in there. You've got your WhatsApp in there. And then you just want to repeat that for the rest of time. This poor client's going to have you messaging for the rest of their lives until they respond, basically. So the things they don't mind. How many emails do you guys get a day?
Oh, hundreds in my junk, or not, maybe not hundred, dozens in my junk, easily. Dozens in my junk. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, we all get these emails, and recruiters think like they care. Oh my god, I emailed him twice I emailed him every month. Who cares? Someone sends me something for free. I don't care. Like you want to send me a house? Send that house, mate. I'll have a look at a house. You want to send me a car? I'll have a look at a car. Like, how can I get upset that someone's giving me something or sending something through for me to look at? If I don't want it, I won't use it. But recruiters get in their minds like that they somehow like matter to these people. They don't care about you. You like people think, oh, what if? They get so bent out of shape? Maybe who cares? Just keep hitting them, like not in a disrespectful way, but just like they might not be hiring now. They might be hiring in the month. Just get them. Just keep coming back. They'll keep seeing that you're sending good people, and they eventually will work with you. Like it's a machine, and the machine is giving me. I get 4 new clients a week. Let's just put it like that. And then I'll get as many candidates as I can get. I'll do 15 interviews a day. It's a machine, and you just need to be just having like Top Biller on yours. It's about having as many conversations with as many good clients, many good candidates as possible.
What's the 80/20 with the process, Oliver? So it's finding a really good candidate, and maybe that is the 80/20. Maybe you'll say, Ben, everything else is secondary to finding a candidate, but assuming that finding a good candidate is a big part of the process. Where are you seeing the best results? And I know I'm going into slightly more detail with the channel and the approach now. Like, do you get most of your responses on email in the first response? Is it the second? Is it on LinkedIn? Is it on WhatsApp? I noticed that you mentioned like a few different channels that you use. Where's the 80/20 with this process, do you think?
Depends how hungry you are. So like, obviously once you start getting Ramo, you like when I first started, I was like, because obviously you can't send mass WhatsApp, can you? Unless someone knows something I don't. So like you get on a phone call with them and you're getting libels, then you're WhatsApping them, and then you're iMessaging them. Obviously once you start getting completely Ramo, you can't then have that same aggression where you're just like going after it. So I would say probably email, Like I'll probably say email gets you a lot. Everyone's got email, you can see it. And I would say that I get, a good amount from cold calling still. And I get, LinkedIn as well. Obviously, I know you guys are big content people. We'll get into that shortly. But I get a lot. Like I did a job post. I did a CTO job post probably about 3 days ago, and I got a job off the back of that. So it's just everything, mate. I think people get too bogged down. You've got to attack everything. You can't just be like, I'm doing one. Just do everything, and it just max it out. And people get obsessed. They're like, oh yeah, I'm going to just drill for cold calling. But at the same time, you're not getting as much as you used to of the cold calls. You need to be modern. You need to use these different tools rather than just being one trick pony.
Interesting. So I'm getting LinkedIn. So you get an equal amount or a fair amount of LinkedIn email and from it's cold calling. Sorry. So you're kind of,
I'd say so.
One client, you're attacking them with all those 3 every time.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's constant attack.
Interesting.
If you had to choose one, Oliver, out of all the channels, which one has probably made you the most money, do you think?
I would say probably email.
Cool. And then
obviously that's my market, isn't it? Engineers love to not answer calls. So maybe probably different markets is different. Like, I've done sales in the past. Someone else doing sales, they love to answer my calls. So I just rip the phone. I still rip the phone now. I still rip the phone for both candidates and clients. I rip everything. It's just a mass attack because I think that when you've got a team, you're thinking, oh, I've got 4 people, right? You spread it out. They've got these. Once they're gone, you then got to think, how can I get that same output while being on my own? And then once you start thinking like that, that really allows you to hit a different level, I'd say.
Wicked, mate. And then I'm kind of going back to the solution to all this, which is
Yeah.
the good candidate, because that is really where it
Yeah.
started, wasn't it? It was like you
Yeah.
found a good
Yeah.
candidate, and then you were like, "Oh shit, specking works. I'm going to spec them in." And so I guess my question to you, Oliver, is: was it hard to find really good candidates? Was that easy? How did you go about doing that? Like that was the missing piece. So how do you and how did you find good candidates?
Well, the thing is, it's just as hard to find good candidates as it is to find clients. And the biggest mistake, yeah, that people make is number one, working with bad candidates, and number two, working with bad clients. Like, if the client's any dodgy, they're just gone. Like, I don't really care. Like, I'm not saying that. Like, it's just that you will get run ragged by these bad clients. Okay, they will kill you off. So you can't just work those jobs. You've got to be very specific. And obviously, how do I get these good candidates? I go after them with everything. Firstly, my LinkedIn recruiter bill is £32,000 just for me, which gives me 1,000 emails a month. That's one tool. Obviously, I've got my emails, I've got my phone calls, I've got I'll probably say that's my free routes to getting good candidates. And then you just got to be the thing is that the developers are the same. Like, they respect you. They like, you're gonna get every now and then you get a developer who's gonna be really upset and just, say, just leave me alone, but they're just that's just the way they are. Some people are just like that. But most of them are actually quite grateful. Like, who doesn't want like, these people are taking their jobs very seriously, and you're giving them opportunities to better their career. Like, they're not gonna some of them are gonna be grumpy, but who cares? Like, you're providing a service to them. So you really need to attack the candidates and the clients in a very like, strategic, and make sure your contact. So let's just say your target market has got 3,000 engineers. You got to find a way to get contact 3,000 engineers once a month minimum.
Mm.
Yeah, how are you going to do that? You just need to start thinking like that, because if you can fill if you give me 50 engineers, I'm gonna make a lot of money. You give me 50 engineers and 50 clients right now who are good. It's like, we're caning it. How can I funnel those people into my calendar? That's what you want to think. What can I do to funnel as many of them in as possible? Um, and then from there, you're going to have you're going to get a better candidate to then work with to spec out.
Love that, mate. And then a follow up to that is: how did you get these good candidates on the phone? Was it as simple as saying, "Hey, I'm a recruiter. I have access to the best companies in the US. Would love a chat." Like, what were you saying to get these this rare commodity on the phone, essentially?
Yeah, I think obviously it comes down again to just recruiters in the UK. One thing I've noticed, they try all these weird strategies like reverse headhunting, and they think, maybe with this client, if I brown nose him right, like, he's gonna give me, like, he don't care about you, mate. You're nothing to him. Like, he's just another recruiter doing his head in. Like, they want you to find them a good candidate, and the developer wants you to find him a good job. That is it. Yeah, they deal with bad recruiters all the time. They see them all the time. Like, I get people messaging me. They're just so many bad people out there. So they want you to show that you are capable. So what you need to do is you need to pitch them a really good job. Yeah, you give them a cold call. You're going to say, "My name's Oliver." You're going to pitch them and say, "Look, I'm working with this company." Say the company name. Again, they're going to do. They're going to do. This is why I think it's going to be interesting. Just pitch them. Then you want to get them on a call. Like, let's have a call, 15 minutes. You got 15 minutes tomorrow. I'll tell you about it. If you're not interested, we'll stay in touch for anything that might come through. And you just rinse and repeat until you get as many as you can. Like, that is it. Just it's a volume play.
Mm.
Mm. I feel like the key that you're explaining, and I love how you're simplifying it, it's just understanding what the people you're speaking to want. Like, what do they
Yeah.
actually want? And just presenting that in a
Yeah.
simple, straightforward way.
Yeah.
We're coming up towards the end of the pod. I can't believe how quickly this is going, which is pretty insane. Oliver, so far you've told us some amazing things. Is there anything else that we haven't covered so far that you've learned in this incredible journey from, struggling, losing money to now, on track to do over 1 million? What are there any other little hacks, tricks, or tips that another recruiter who's probably in your old situation would learn from?
I would say that the biggest mistake people make me included. I think we were having a chat about this the other day, Ben, like when we were talking about like gym progress. Yeah. Because obviously I know you're obviously in really good shape. And, I think that the biggest mistake people make is actually quite arrogant, me included, by the way. I'm not saying like I was really arrogant. Thought I was the best. I thought I was a great recruiter. Obviously, I'm probably just insecure deep down. And I think that people don't want to hear it, do they? You can drop someone next to me now and I would tell them what to do and they wouldn't do it, mate. I'm telling you. I could sit them next to me as, we say 1 million. Obviously, I'm going to be a 2 million USD biller. We'll revisit this at the end of the year. But let's just say I'm a 2 million USD biller. You could sit someone down next to me and they're going to think they know best. Yeah. And they're still not going to do what I do. Like, you put me next to someone and they built 200 grand. I'm going to be listening to everything. I'm going to copy them. Not like it's just that's how it is. I want to be number one. And I'll be self aware enough to look myself in the mirror and go, he's better than you or she's better than you. What are they doing you do not know? And then you need to just sit yourself down and listen. And then you just need to implement it. That is the main thing I'd say. People are they think they know, they think and I don't know why. I don't know why I used to think that. But I think that people really need to just sit themselves down and just start listening to what real top bidders are doing. Your podcast, for example, if you just sit there and you listen to it, okay, and you implement it, you're going to be successful. Like, that is it. You copy the people who are billing that much, you're going to get results. If you start training with someone who's an absolute monster, who's like he didn't get big by accident, did he? Like, he knows things you don't. I remember this. I remember when I was in the gym, I used to go to the gym and people used to tell me things. I'd be like, no, that's not it. It's this way you're meant to do it. And I'm scrawny, and this guy's a unit. I'm arrogant enough to think that this guy, I somehow know more than this guy. And it really took me to just be driven down, my whole ego just completely smashed down into nothing. And then after the back of that, I really then had a look at myself and I went, you are going to have to just start listening, open up 2 ears and just take in everything that you're being told. And I think it's really hard to do that unless you hit rock bottom. If I'd done, let's just say I had that million year and then I'd done a million and then I was probably doing 6, 7, whatever. I'd have just carried on, mate. Like, that's what would have happened. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Nothing would have changed. I had to go to the pit of hell, and it was hell. Like, that's how it sounds over dramatic. It's hard to explain me when you're experiencing yourself. But I felt like such like a piece of shit, basically. I felt like my whole self identity was destroyed. And then from there, that is the way you're gonna make it. It's just to listen, mate. The clear thing is, there's if people just listen to the people who are telling them, they're going to do really well, but no one wants to hear it, and I have no idea why. Why do you guys think that is?
It's a really good question. Again, I think it comes back to ego. It's like
Yeah.
you have recruiters and people, form this identity of who they think they are. And if
Yeah.
there's conflicting information, then it's, I think, an attack on we're getting into like psychology here, but I think it's an attack on their ego. And
Yeah.
I think maybe some people are just lazy as well, like
I was going to say that. I think it's
maybe they're not lazy, but they just don't have the drive to,
Yeah.
do what it takes to be a top biller, if that makes sense. Because it's like, maybe they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I agree with that. But then they get back to their desk and like, oh, I don't really want to make 100 calls today, or I don't want to do, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, there's probably lots of reasons, but I think ego is probably one of the biggest ones, is where people, if anything goes against their belief, it's an attack on their ego, which they don't want to admit. That's my opinion. What about you, Sam?
Right.
Yeah, I think 100% exactly what you said. And we've experienced this firsthand with some of our clients. We love all of them and they're all lovely people. But like, when they first work with us, they will be like, no, I don't want to post this. I want to post that. And we're like, no, just trust us. This is what works. This is what gets inbound leads. But they want to do it their way. And so it's exactly what you said. It's like a mixture of ego, a mixture of safety, a mixture of probably discipline as well, like, because it's hard to implement that stuff. And if you're copying a £2 million bidder, there's probably a lot of hard work that goes into that.
Maybe another one, which is, I feel like you have to stick at something long enough to see it working. And it's like, probably like with any strategy, it's like months before you properly see it working, most likely. And I
Yes,
think
no.
a lot of people just don't have the patience to, including me for a lot of things. I don't want to paint this out that I'm this, disciplined guru. I'm not. But if I was to look at other recruiters, that's probably another thing that they struggle with, is like just sticking with something long enough to see it working.
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I'm saying this like, oh, those people, that was me until very recently. So like, I'm not saying, but that's just like, that's what I was doing as well. I just thought, I don't know, exactly what you say. Obviously, change is scary. So I think that people, it's very scary. And I think my people just throw in the towel, and they just you don't trust it, do you? You think, oh, I know best. But
Yeah. I've got a meeting in 2 minutes, guys. Oliver, I love this episode, mate. Not only have me and Ben known you for a while, so it makes it even more like personal, but it was an epic story. So thank you so much for coming on, mate. And we have to do a round 2 once you hit the 2 million. I would love to get you back on,
100%.
because I feel like we could have spoken for another hour. I literally have been so into this conversation, I could have gone on for another hour. But thank you for coming on, mate. And you deserve every little bit of success. And it's super inspirational for me as well, mate. Just like everything you've been through, like I'm absolutely buzzing, and I feel like I need to go off and get a million now.
I really appreciate it, guys. And thanks for having me on. Obviously, we'll stay in touch throughout anyway. So I'll see you again when we hit the 2 million.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to this episode. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and Spotify. Tune in for another episode next week, and we look forward to seeing you again very soon. Peace and love.